everybody, good afternoon. How are you today? I hope all of you is okay. Okay everybody, here I am Penny Purwanti, the student of Malang State University with my members Mrs. Agus Lia Savitri and Mrs. Heni Puspitasari will present our English article. And then the title of our article is The Application of Project-Based Learning Model for Class 5 Student, Team 5, Sub-Team 1, Ecosystem Material. Okay everybody, now I will show you the table of content, our article. The titles, abstracts, introduction, literature review, research methods, results, discussions, conclusion, and reference. And next, we will explain it for you one by one. Okay everyone, now I will explain you about our abstracts. The purpose of this study is to describe learning outcomes student cognitively through a project-based learning model for class 5 students on ecosystem material. The type of research conducted in this research is class action research or CAR. In CAR, in general, there are 4 stages are commonly passed, namely first planning, and then implementation, observation, and the last is reflection. Data collection techniques in this research consist of observation, documentation, and text. And then the subject in this study were 5th grade students of elementary school Pasir Harjo 1, Blitar. And then the research subject were 23 students, consisting of 9 male students and 14 female students. Then the type of data that will be collected in this study is data on science learning outcomes for 5th grade student elementary school Pasir Harjo 1. And then the results are found that the student learning outcome were cognitively improved. The implementation of science learning on ecosystem material by applying the PGBL model in cycle 1 and cycle 2 were 78.48 with good criteria and 81.95 with very good criteria. Okay everybody, now I will explain you about the introduction. The learning process involves several components that support the creation of a conducive and meaningful learning climate. The learning objective that are focus on the exploration of student abilities consistently and continuously. Achievement indicator become an important point so that students can develop themselves optimally. Learning is a conscious process to gain an understanding of an object. This process can be done by continuous and continuously. Students in learning are expected to be willing and able to carry out educational learning activities. The intended learning activities are students who intend to learn, carry out learning activities, and evaluate themselves. With the activities carried out by students in learning, of course, the student can do the acquisition of concept optimally, both individual and classically. The application is something that needs to be underlined. This is because the application of the model can be used to manage learning activities more effectively. The use of learning model needs to pay attention to several things, including the objective to be achieved, learning material to be discussed, student characteristics, and other aspects that can be affect the selection of learning model. One of the learning models that are expected to assist students to obtaining optimal results in learning is project-based learning or PGBL. The PGBL model is a learning model that allows students to learn independently in a project to produce their own realistic work.
Okay, the next based on the result of observation made on September 19, 2022, it can be seen that number 1, students do conventional learning, namely listening to the teacher's explanation, then doing practice question. Number 2, student daily scores have not reached the minimum expected learning completeness criteria. Number 3, students have difficulty discussing and studying in groups because of the communication aspect that has not been effective. Number 4, students are not confident in conveying the result of their work in front of the class. Number 5, there are students who play and talk alone during learning. And now research method. The type of research is class action or class action research. The design of this research in classroom action research is research focused on improving learning in the classroom. Now, steps of implementing classroom action research. Hemis and McTaggart, 1982. Number 1, planning. Number 2, implementation. Number 3, observation. Number 4, reflection. Subject, 5th grade students at UPT SD Negeri Pasir Harjo 1 Blitar, with 23 students consisting of 9 male students and 14 female students. The type of data, student learning outcomes cognitively. Data collection technique, observation, documentation, and test. The data that has been collected will be analyzed descriptively, both descriptive qualitative and descriptive quantitative. The formula used to determine the percentage of student learning. P equals F and X 100%. Nana Sujana 2008 133. Information F frequency overall score being searched percentage and amount number of individual. E percentage figure.
And then go to research section. Before carrying out learning activities with the application of PBL application to improve skill learning outcomes for class 5 of semester starting in 2022 or 2023, UPT SD Negeri Pasir Harjo 1 Blitar. Students are observed for 1 month. The average value of the first cycle class is 78, 48 with good value criteria. Positive findings during learning are students can follow well-implemented learning steps, and then students began to study in groups, and then students are able to present their work in the form of product. The negative findings are students who are not active in learning in group, and then presentation require more time if all students appear. and then students have not completed activities on time, and then there are still students who have not finished learning. The table states that the average value of the class in the second cycle is 81.95 with a good category. The positive things found are as follows. The teacher has, according to the lesson plan, although some aspects have not yet emerged. And then student learning outcomes have shown an increase above the KKM that has been determined by this school, although there are still some students who have not finished studying. And then the success indicators specific in this study have been achieved. So the researcher stops the cycle because the researcher feels that the target to be achieved has been achieved according to the specific KD. This is different from the implementation of pre-action learning activities, teacher centers, and then students only listen to the explanation of the learning material from the teacher without conduction related experiment to find out their knowledge about the learning material. The application PGBL in science learning for class 5 semesters 2022 for 2023 UPT SD Negeri Pasir Hajur 1 Blitar shows the implementation of student-centered learning activities. Learning by applying the PGBL model can make students active to carry out activities in solving this problem. And then students can apply their knowledge to conduct experiment in solving problem. And then go to the discussion. The results show that before the action, the student average score was 73.86 in the first cycle. The learning outcomes had increased. Namely, the average student becomes 78.48 student. And then in the second cycle, and the average student learning outcome was 81.95. The increase in student learning in the following table. And then go to conclusion. The result of the CRR have been carried out. The following conclusion can be obtained. The application of the PGBL for class 5 student can improve student learning outcome cognitively at TEM 5 sub-TEM 1 material ecosystem. And then learning is carried out properly and according to the planned research procedures. And then learning activities that are teacher-centered become student-centered. And then teacher can apply the PGBL to science learning according to the syntax. And then the implementation of science learning on ecosystem materials by applying the PGBL model in cycle 1 and cycle 2 were 78.48 with good criteria and 81.95 with very good criteria. Alhamdulillah. So the presentation of our group's article hopefully can be useful for all. We thank you and apologies if our presentation is not perfect. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.